The settings sections of the FaxCore system is where you can customize the behavior of the system and the information presented to others directly yourself without involving the IT department. To get there, just click on Settings on the left, and then you'll see your list of available options. First one is Personal Information. This one's pretty basic, just has your username, which you can't change, your display name, your first and last name, and your preferred address type. This does allow you can add additional addresses if you want, so that people could, from within the system, email or fax you. And you do that just by clicking on Add Address and choose what you want to do, and then adding it. And once that's done, you can choose that for the delivery method. Now, in our case, we really don't want to do that. We're just going to leave it on email. So we're going to delete that. This setting, obviously, you're only going to change this super occasionally, and mostly around the addresses side of things. The second option is Manage Password. Generally, you're not going to use this. FaxCore integrates with your network, and the login that you use to get into your network is the same one that you use to get into FaxCore. And what this means is when you change your network password, your FaxCore password changes as well. So you don't change it from here, just change it using your network like you normally would. In the general settings section, it's not a lot more complicated than the rest of it. Most of it's pretty straightforward. What information do you want to have displayed in the system for you? And this is stuff that shows up, for example, in the cover sheets. What are your regional and language settings? So English, how you want dates formatted, how you want times formatted, and your time zone. Now, the notification settings is pretty handy. This is where you can define one time and then have it carry through every time you send a fax, whether you want to be notified for these 4 different events. So give some thought to what you want, change the settings here, and then from now on when you send a fax, those will carry through. As I had mentioned earlier, it's possible to change the default cover page when you compose a fax. So just for giggles, I'm going to change this to a cover page I had lying around, and I'll show you how that works in just a minute here. And then in the user interface preferences, you can tell the system what format do you want the system to use when you go to print or save something. Now, generally, I would recommend using PDF. That takes out a lot of the variables on the way documents are viewed on your machine. They're always going to be shown with a PDF viewer, which means the behavior is going to be pretty consistent. And as was mentioned when we were looking at various lists in the overview, you can change the default number of items to display in the list and the default auto refresh interval. I'm going to leave those as is. Now, just as a proof of concept here, we're going to go ahead and save these changes, and you'll notice up here everything is updated. Now we'll go back to messages, compose a new one, and we'll do new cover page demo. Okay, and we'll add good old Marge again. Oops. Okay, and now if we flip over to documents, you see the cover page included is the finance department cover sheet. Okay, so if your department or group has its own cover page, set it up, set it as your default, and then you don't have to think about it. It is also possible to set it that no cover page is automatically generated, and the way you would do that is to go down to the default cover page and click on None. Then when you create a new fax, there's no cover page associated with it. I'm going to set it back to default and save.